Now I've got the... This is daylight murder, and when I say murder, you say, well, oh, Chris, that's a bit...
Strange videos about him laying on a hospital bed getting a colonoscopy or whatever, I don't know, the connect face.
We don't know.
We have to... No, that's what they say it was. So, but at the end of the day, you know, we were probably 24 hours away from pulling Conor Benn out of the fight at one stage of his training.
Yes, it hurt. Okay, so I'm showing you how rich I am. I live in him. He's also my night clothes. I wear him at night. Yes, I wear him to sleep at night. I'm inside him.
I do think the weight cut affected him for the Conor Benn fight.
Back-to-back cap.
Yeah, well, and also, I remember Chris telling me he wasn't using a nutritionist. He may have been, I don't know. You never know with Chris. There's a lot of ruse.
Breaking news, and it's explosive. Conor Benn is responsible, according to a heartbroken and furious Chris Eubank Sr., who says his son was pushed to cut dangerously low weight. You can hear the pain in his voice as he reveals just how serious this situation has become, with Eubank Jr. ending up in hospital because of a demand that should never have been accepted. It's a shocking moment for British boxing, and the spotlight is now firmly on the decisions that put a fighter's safety at risk.
My son having to boil himself down to 160? 3 years ago, they were talking about him coming down to 157. What is that? This is daylight murder. And when I say murder, you say, well, oh, Chris, that's a bit too strong. Yet, my brother died at the hands of the promoters. 20 losses in 27 fights. Being brought in as fodder. Do you understand?
Eubank Jr. ending up in hospital proves beyond any doubt just how dangerous that weight cut truly was. And nobody can deny it now. Even Eddie admitted that not everything goes smoothly in a training camp, and fighters sometimes just have to take it on the chin. But he also revealed that Benn went in heavy, went in strong, and nearly stopped Eubank. And that tells the real story. This whole fight was stacked against Eubank from the very start. A mismatch built on dangerous demands and impossible conditions.
Training camp. Things don't go well in every training camp. But it is what it is. If you sign up for the fight and you go through with the fight, what you can't do after is go, oh, well, I wasn't very well. You know, I've been struggling. Like, the reality is, just take it on the chin. And what we can't do is the fact that Conor Benn's gone up to middleweight,
Jr. that night
he's
told
won
the
every
whole
round
story.
and nearly stopped
His
Chris
body
Eubank.
was clearly drained long before a single punch was thrown, a brutal consequence of that impossible weight demand. Even Liam Goff's reaction showed how alarming it looked, raising questions that couldn't be ignored. And the fact Eubank joked he'd rather pay 50 cents than hand Conor Benn a weight fine only highlights how badly he was pushed into a dangerous corner. Benn benefited from facing a man already weakened, already compromised, and that is why the outcome was never truly fair.
What the hell happened to Chris Eubank Jr.? What did he do? Or what did he not do in order to make that weight healthily? He looked, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I was wondering, because he went to the ring with 50 cents, I was thinking, I wonder how much he paid 50. And I wonder, did he decide, you know what, I would rather just get the money, have 50 cents walk me to the ring and pay him that money than pay Conor Benn or pay whoever, the British boxing board, to miss weight and come in healthy.
Johnny Nelson makes it absolutely clear that Eubank Jr. did everything he could to keep control. But you could see the pressure mounting from Benn's side, because Benn expected every advantage to be handed to him. All the talk about fines only proves that Eubank knew the fight was going ahead regardless, yet he still refused to give Benn a single extra benefit, even while he was clearly struggling. Benn relied on Eubank walking into that ring already weakened, and that alone tells you everything about who wanted a fair fight and who didn't.
Everything he's done, he knows this fight's not going to get pulled. So don't be surprised Saturday morning, because I say, here, take the fine money. Here, I'm getting paid a lot of money, take it. And so, because there's no way on earth he's going to put himself in a position where he's going to
Duke McKenzie calling that weight cut unsafe only confirms what Eubank Sr. had been warning from day one. because dropping from a natural walking weight down to such a brutal limit strips a fighter of strength, stamina, and even basic health. This wasn't some clever strategic choice. It was a forced sacrifice demanded by Benn's camp. Eubank Jr. put his own body on the line, weakened himself just to make the fight happen. And Benn turned that vulnerability into his biggest weapon instead of relying on pure skill. It says everything about how that fight was shaped before either man even stepped through the ropes.
My concern for Eubank is the amount of weight this boy's got to cut to come down to, I think the fight's made at 160 pounds, is that right? Right. So he's got to come down from 100, from whatever his walking round weight is. Let's say he walks around at 180 pounds when he's out of training. That's like 20 pound weight difference, right? That he's got to lose. It's not safe. It's not. He can't possibly be at his physically strongest. He can't. And he's really putting himself on the line.
Hearing that Eubank Jr. is in serious condition wipes away any remaining doubt about how dangerous that weight demand really was. Because no fighter should ever be pushed to the point of hospitalization just to satisfy an opponent's ego. This is the brutal truth Eubank Sr. has been shouting from the start, and now the world finally sees it. Conor Benn walked into the ring fresh and full of energy, while Eubank stepped through the ropes already damaged, already drained. And the outcome was the direct result of those reckless, unforgiving weight terms Benn insisted on. Watching Eubank Jr. in that ring, it was painfully obvious he wasn't the same fighter. The savage weight cut demanded by Conor Benn had stripped him of his strength, his sharpness, and the trademark speed we're used to seeing. Every movement looked labored. Every punch lacked its usual snap. And the fact he ended up in hospital afterwards tells you everything about the severity of it. Benn walked in fresh, confident, and fully fueled, benefiting from Eubank's suffering. And the contrast was night and day. It showed just how desperate Benn was to look good by exploiting a weakened opponent, rather than facing a fully prepared fighter at full strength.
I don't know what's going on with him, but I can tell you this. We didn't see the same Chris Eubank Jr. this time as we saw last time.
Tony Bellew's words land with real force, because what we witnessed wasn't a fair contest. It was a circus built on Eubank Jr.'s suffering. Conor Benn strolled in confident and comfortable, while Eubank Jr. was wrestling with the brutal aftermath of extreme dehydration. The sport itself was overshadowed by reckless demands and Benn's smug advantage. As the fight unfolded, it became painfully clear that Benn was relying on a weakened opponent rather than showcasing genuine skill, turning boxing into a spectacle of imbalance and shame. And the hospitalization only underlines how far Benn's ego pushed this situation, exposing the danger and the sheer unfairness of it all, rather than any true spirit of competition.
It's frightening for the sport. It's not that it's bad, it's frightening. But listen, this isn't boxing as a sport, this is the circus.
Roy Jones Jr. noticed something the world can't ignore. Eubank Jr.'s calm energy, his focus, even while his body was under immense strain. Meanwhile, Benn walked into the weigh-in fresh and confident, completely secure, while Eubank Jr. had been pushed through brutal weight demands that later landed him in hospital. That discipline, that composure under such pressure only highlights the unfair advantage Benn enjoyed. This wasn't about skill, timing, or preparation. It was about surviving impossible conditions while his opponent was already compromised. And the hospitalization says it all. Benn's confidence was artificially inflated, while Eubank Jr.'s courage and professionalism were tested beyond reason.
Just going through the motion, he's serious about it, you know, so I liked it.
Yeah, like his energy was like very calming throughout the week.
Yes.
Dave Coldwell summed it up perfectly. The sheer disrespect shown to Eubank Jr. was shocking. Benn took full advantage of a weakened opponent. Sure, the presser looked playful to the crowd, But behind the scenes, Benn was exploiting Eubank's drained condition to make himself look dominant. Crossing the line and physically poking a dehydrated fighter shows exactly where Benn thrives. Not on skill, but on exploiting vulnerability. And the hospitalization? That proves just how dangerous this situation became. Benn's confidence came entirely from an opponent compromised by extreme weight cutting. This wasn't about fairness in the slightest. It was Benn leveraging weakness to build his ego.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Does that cross the lane, do you think?
Yeah, it does. Listen, the presser was good. It was a great presser, back and forth, poking each other, but not too far. But once you get physical and you touch a man's face, then
Jack Catterall highlighted the extremes fighter's face, but even his cautious words underline just how dangerous Benn's demands really were. Eubank Jr. endured a brutal weight cut that no one could safely recommend, while Benn strutted confident, taking full advantage of his opponent's suffering. It wasn't skill that made Benn look good. It was Eubank Jr. being forced into extreme measures. The hospitalization confirms his health was on the line, and Benn's so-called triumph is completely tainted by this unfair advantage. Every discussion about weight cuts now points back to how reckless Benn's camp was and just how much they exploited Eubank Jr.
You know what? Everybody's weight situation and weight making situation is unique to them. There's weight classes for a reason. I know some people are going to too extreme lengths. I don't know. I can't comment on it. I wish him to be safe and well, like I wish every fighter. But that's their business.
Dave Coldwell's comments make it crystal clear. Benn's actions were calculated, not spontaneous. And that's exactly what made the situation so much worse for Eubank Jr. While Eubank Jr. battled dehydration and exhaustion, Benn deliberately applied psychological pressure and humiliation, fully aware his opponent was compromised. The hospitalization proves it. Benn relied on Eubank Jr.'s weakness to make himself look bigger, rather than earning it through real skill. Every premeditated move exposes Benn's insecurity and eagerness to exploit, turning what should have been a contest of talent into a dangerous display of opportunism that risked a fighter's health while protecting his own inflated ego.
Premeditated, then it's not uncharacteristic. At the time, you're thinking it's like reaction. So no, it's not, because he premeditates everything, and it was funny, but I don't agree with...
Eddie Hearn points it out bluntly. Benn's behavior at the presser was utterly dishonorable. While he calls it a bitch move, it perfectly reflects the mindset that led him to exploit Eubank Jr.'s weakened state. Eubank Jr. was dehydrated, drained, and teetering on the edge of collapse, while Benn's actions were calculated to gain a psychological advantage, rather than fight on equal footing. This explains why Eubank ended up in hospital. The situation was engineered against him. Benn's confidence didn't come from preparation or skill. It came from his opponent's desperation. Every move at that presser reinforces it. Benn thrives when Eubank Jr. is struggling physically and mentally.
Because I thought it was a bitch move. I really did.
Have you spoken?
I would never. If you chin someone at a presser, if you do that, it's different. But when
Paul Smith's reaction lays it bare. The shocking disregard some had for Eubank Jr.'s well-being as they laughed off a situation that landed him in hospital. While Eubank Jr. battled extreme weight loss and exhaustion, Benn's antics were celebrated, turned into entertainment. It exposes the arrogance and carelessness of Benn's camp, because the seriousness of Eubank Jr.'s condition was completely ignored for spectacle. The hospitalization proves this was no harmless incident. Benn's ego relied entirely on exploiting a weakened opponent. Every laugh, every comment from the sidelines only reinforces it. Benn's so-called success was built on exploitation, not skill.
We expect that from Chisora. I'm not going to lie, when it happens, I laughed my head off. I absolutely laughed my head off.
I did too.
I thought it was quite poetic. I thought what happened was...
Eubank Jr.'s words cut straight to the heart of the story. They reveal exactly what Benn tried to do, targeting him at his weakest. The hospitalization was a direct consequence of the extreme weight cut Benn forced into the fight, and it lays bare just how cowardly and opportunistic he truly is. Even as his body suffered, Eubank Jr. stayed focused, refusing to let Benn's tactics shake his mind. This moment exposes Benn's character completely. He relied on attacking a depleted opponent rather than meeting a fighter at full strength, making his so-called advantage hollow and his reputation earned through exploitation, not skill.
Insect is a coward. He waited until I was cutting weight, dehydrated, and malnourished to come and step to me.
The final section of this story leaves no doubt. Conor Benn's tactics were shameful. Eubank Jr. ended up in hospital simply for following the extreme weight demands Benn's team insisted on. This wasn't a contest of skill or preparation. It was a calculated exploitation of a fighter's body and health. Every comment, every presser, every sneer from Benn's side showed just how desperate he was to appear dominant without facing a fully prepared opponent. Yet through dehydration, exhaustion, and malnutrition, Eubank Jr.'s courage and discipline shone through. And that is what real fans should celebrate. Benn's advantage was artificial and hollow, while Eubank Jr. proved the heart and professionalism of a true fighter. Now the world sees the danger of such tactics and why fighters must be protected. Do you think Benn should be held accountable for pushing Eubank Jr. to the brink? Let us know in the comments and join the debate on who truly earned respect in this fight.